Alright, the Kingpyn tournament is here. It is only a few days away, and it's time for some predictions.
He's done it from time to time. Just a bit of...
From the United Kingdom, the Nightmare. Hey!
This whole week is just a great week for the boxing scene in general. Friday, we got the Misfits number 6 event, and then Saturday with the Kingpyn tournament and Tank versus Garcia in the same day. Lots of videos to be made, lots of fights to watch. And today I'm going to be going over my predictions for the Kingpyn men's tournament. And I'm just going to get right into this. We're starting out with King Kenny versus my mate Nate. I made a video talking about this fight and what it means for King Kenny. Just saying how I respect how he's jumping right back into the fire after his last loss to Ashley Roxu. He could have easily went back to some easier opponents, but he is back. He's in this tournament, and it shows that he believes in himself. He really thinks he can win this tournament. And I'm excited to see it, and I really think this fight is the best one King Kenny could have hoped for. My mate Nate, I'm not saying he's bad. I do think he's talented. But I think stylistically, this is a good matchup for King Kenny. Both guys are known for being more technical boxers. And with King Kenny wanting to implement a new fighting style for this fight, being more aggressive, this is the type of guy you want to do that against. Someone who is technical and will allow you to show off that volume King Kenny intends to have. If King Kenny would have drawn someone like Gib or even Tom Zanetti, going in there with this new aggressive style would not go well. At least with this being his first time implementing it and learning it overall. So maybe after this, he'll be more ready for those type of fighters. And so I see this fight starting off semi-technical, and I think King Kenny is really going to try to push the pace. That is where his criticism has been, and that's where I believe he wants to prove people wrong. My mate Nate, I think he's going to try to keep it technical, and I do think he will be overwhelmed by the volume, and I believe King Kenny's pressure is going to get to him, and I think King Kenny is going to win this fight by 4th round TKO. Alright, we're moving on to the next fight, Jarvis versus Tom Zanetti. I also made a video breaking down this fight as well. And while Jarvis has been learning the sport for the last couple years, training, he has only had one fight, and that was almost 2 years ago when he was 19. He is now 21 and returning to the ring. I think this moment, it might get to him. I think there's a lot of pressure going into this fight for him. And I think stylistically, it is a very bad matchup for him against Tom Zanetti. I don't know how Jarvis is going to handle the pressure from Tom Zanetti. I can see Jarvis landing some big shots early, but I think Tom Zanetti is going to eat them well. And I think the aggressiveness and pressure that Tom Zanetti brings is going to get to Jarvis, and I don't know how well he's going to handle those shots back. I'm also very worried for the weight here for Jarvis. Jarvis in his first fight weighed about 150 pounds and has bulked up to 170 for this tournament. And he hasn't just put it all on in a couple months. He has put it on over a good amount of time. But I have heard that Jarvis is naturally the smallest person in this tournament. Going against someone like Tom Zanetti, who is probably one of the bigger guys in this tournament, probably having to cut down from about 185 pounds just to meet this limit. I think that weight difference on fight night could be a big factor, and it could make a big difference with Tom Zanetti's power and how well Jarvis is able to handle it. If Jarvis is able to keep this thing technical, then props to him. I just don't think he's experienced enough yet to implement that game plan. Jarvis has the better boxing skills, but Tom Zanetti is a fighter. He has experience. And I overall do see Tom Zanetti winning this fight by a 3rd round TKO. Alright, next fight is Whindersson versus Filipek. I think that's how you say his name. I don't really know. No disrespect. I just haven't really been able to find it. And this is probably the fight I know the least about. I'm not too familiar with either guy. I know Whindersson is a huge name, and I have seen him fight before. I do see Whindersson winning this fight. I'm honestly really excited to see this fight just to see where these two guys are at in comparison to everyone else in the tournament. So I don't really have too much to say on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and predict that Whindersson wins this fight by a 5th round decision. And the final fight of the card, the one everyone is probably the most excited for, Aneson Gib versus Austin Mcbroom 2. And this fight, in my opinion, is a lot closer than some people might think. I think Austin Mcbroom is very talented. I think this sport comes pretty naturally to him in comparison to a lot of other people in the scene. I think Austin is going to find success early in the fight once again. I expect his gas tank to be better in this fight as well. But I also expect Aneson Gib to be better in this fight. He is someone who has not stopped training since the last fight. He constantly is improving, pushing himself, and I do think this fight through the first few rounds is going to be very close. I could even see Austin Mcbroom winning the first couple rounds, but once again, I am going to have to go with Gib on this one. Gib is someone who has insane cardio. I think once again, Gib is going to start taking over in the later rounds, and I see Gib getting the knockout in the 4th round of this fight. Honestly though, I will not be super shocked if somehow Austin Mcbroom pulls off this upset. I think he deserves a lot more credit than what he gets. I know a lot of people like to hate on him, but he is talented. And if he was to win, I see him getting a stoppage early. I think if he can rock Gib real early, he could finish the fight in the first 2 rounds. That's how I think he would win, but I'm going to stick with Gib on this one. 4th round KO. So these are my predictions for the Kingpyn tournament round 1. What do you guys think? Am I off here? Which fights am I wrong about? I'm excited to watch this event. I know I didn't go over the girls' fights, but I'm also excited to watch those. And I look forward to making videos covering this entire event. Subscribe for more boxing updates and content if you feel like it. That would be pretty cool. The support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Peace.